Welcome
Welcome
to
to
Shade and the
Shady
City.
City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today, y'all, we are getting into our review of Ready to Love, Season 7, Episode 10, Bro Code Broken. It absolutely was. Now, but I guess it was in the name of love, so I'm not going to sing that
I
song.
wonder, does it
It
matter
came to
if
my
they're
head.
not? But I wonder, does it matter that they're not bros?
Well, apparently they do have a little bond that we know about, I guess. Maybe they would be cool if they didn't share this common interest. But anyway, y'all, we don't want to give away the whole thing before we get into it. So, y'all, let's get into it. And if you haven't already, hit that like button, Shade Squad.
And that subscribe button.
And let's get into it. Let's get shady. Y'all, we see the singles headed up to the weekend getaway. Morgan and Jeffrey are like two peas in a pod. They're traveling together and bringing along, I love it, the BBE, okay? And of course, we are in the first 15 minutes of the video, so it is the bad energy. I bleeped it out for a reason. Andre, Cynthia, MA, and Mercedes are all riding together. Mercedes is looking for clarity on this trip and doesn't understand how people can be players because she said, I'm exhausted. I don't want to be a player no more. I'm just saying, that's what she was giving. She was like, this shit's hard. So Morgan and Jeffrey discussed their dilemma of having two very strong connections, one being the person they want and the other being the person that they need.
They just want to build a man.
I'm not gonna lie to you, because I was like, no, I don't feel like whatever, Jeffrey. You feel like it may is for you. I don't see it for y'all. And Morgan, I'm with Tony. We'll get there. I'm sorry, I'm giving it away. So anyway, Tony
Look, Talia. I said, did I just call you?
Yeah, she just called me her daughter's name, y'all. Like I'm
so much alike, okay?
Like I'm her child. I mean, I did mark her child. That is my baby. She just delivered her, but that's my baby.
I've just been yelling at that girl so much lately.
Same way she yells at me, you know.
No, I don't even remember what I was going to say. Forget it.
But Tony, Lyndon, and Anthony are also traveling together. Okay, bromance. Anthony admits that his connection with Sue-Ann is falling off a little bit. And so he needs to see where he at, and he don't end up in the corner by himself somewhere.
So now, okay, did you see Lyndon? Lyndon teasing Anthony about all the connection he has. Didn't Tony look aggravated?
Tony looked aggravated most of the ride.
Except for one time. I think he said something one time.
Most of the time he was sitting there like this.
And look, and he said, and look, and then he said, that's what he said. He basically said, like, negativity is in our midst. Like, it's going to be negative. Like,
right. He did say that. He said, I feel like something negative is going to happen. I bet you do. So, because you irritated already. Now, Tony thinks Marcy definitely should have been there, but he's relieved that he doesn't have to be battling between two connections. Are you relieved? Well, then this is my favorite part. Go ahead. You can do it.
So nephew Tommy has invited the group to Alligator Alley, which nobody wants to be there because it's not for us, except for this one here.
Y'all, when I tell y'all this,
it's not meant for us.
I'm sure on one of these reviews, y'all have heard me talk about my experience with messing with the alligators on Alligator Alley, and y'all might think I'm crazy, say, oh, that, she a little different, whatever. I don't care. I love that Tommy dropped it and they saw the little alligators come up the water. That's what I used to do. Now, maybe I didn't have a tour guide and cameras, so I, some safety.
And didn't you go at night?
Yeah, I used to go at night. But I just love that they actually showed this experience because, these are the kind of things that you do in Florida.
Nobody does that in Florida. First of all, that's like being from New York and going to watch the ball drop.
Oh, I know nobody from New York does that.
Nobody from Florida goes to Alligator Alley.
I'm not from Florida.
You might as well have been. You was down there long enough. You was a Floridian, okay?
Yeah, I mean, I did that in the beginning. That was my beginning of the tenure, you know. And later on, and as
You would have thought that would have made you more scared.
no, it made me ready for adventure. But go ahead.
I told you. Alligator Alley is not for us. It's not for us.
This airboat ride, so up my alley.
So Tommy came through on the airboat, like he said, double O Negro. Okay, the way that thing swished out the water. And basically he tells them that they're going to use their time on this trip to figure their ish out. Because in the morning, one special lady, or not so special lady, is going home. So the group jumps on the airboat. Lyndon quickly pops a squat next to Morgan. He ain't playing no games. Okay. Now she's concerned about how Tony feels about this because she knows his patience is wearing thin with Lyndon. They made it to this beautiful house. And you know, to me, it wasn't as nice as the past seasons.
No, so one season, no. That, what was it, that DC season, wherever they took them and they had bunk beds? This was a nice house.
This one had bunk beds too.
Oh, well, no, because that one they took them to in DC, I felt bad because, you know, they took them in the woods somewhere.
What I remember is the season with Joy, okay, where they was out on like some island or something. That's probably what made Joy and Clifton want to buy the house that they bought.
Right.
That damn house that they was at. That one was nice. Well, anyways, the group scatters to find their rooms. Andre and Mercedes seem to have made amends for like the 100th time. Cynthia and Morgan found the best room by far. It looked like it had like some marble, like the whole bathroom was like marble looking, or it was nice. Then Lyndon came in the game room and decided to wake a sleeping bear. Okay. And tells Tony, let's play for Morgan's honor. Tony said, let's play for where she gonna sleep tonight. Now, this man knew he was about to play with a sharpshooter. I don't know what's wrong with him, what he was thinking. All right. Morgan said she walked in the room thinking, oh my God, my boys are getting along. Only to find out that they was playing for her ass. She like, yeah, no. Okay, wrong again.
Can I tell you, only be...
Yes. So Tony is a beast on this pool table and he scored the last shot. So unfortunately for poor little Lyndon, looks like Morgan will be sleeping with him tonight. Now, MA is talking.
I don't know about that.
Well, that's what he won. Morgan ain't never agreed to it. That was their agreement. Now, MA
said, I got something for that ass.
You're an idiot.
Excuse me, I'm on camera eating, so I just decided to keep y'all from watching all me chew food in my mouth and turn the camera off for the moment.
Right, look, before she was using it because her camera was messing up, now she's using it to eat food.
No, but I'm eating a whole sandwich. You know, if I was eating something small like some chips, I wouldn't give a damn, but I'm eating a sandwich. Y'all don't need to be a witness to that. I can't stand when people do that. And I can't stand to hear it. So if y'all drop down in the comments, if y'all can hear me chewing, then please let me know because I'll turn the mic off too. Shit. Go ahead.
Oh my God. So May is over there talking about Mercedes is his future ex-wife because of the booty shorts she got on. Apparently, you know, to him it was giving body yaddy yaddy.
Mercedes was when she had on that was later on, but when she jumped in that pool with her bathing suit and she was right, and I was like, Mercedes. I didn't know the booty was bootying like that.
I did think she looked good in her shorts too, though.
Yeah.
So you can tell that Sue Ann and Blake are really not the favorites in the house because they are bunkies. Literally, they in a bunk room. And this girl watching him pick up a suitcase, talking about some manual labor is so sexy. Ciao. Bye. Andre.
I didn't even notice these parts because I didn't. Just go ahead.
And you know what? In the beginning, the parts that she was talking about in the car, I ain't do none of that. I literally did.
I thought that was important who they came because you know Morgan apparently that's why Morgan went at Blake like she did because apparently that's why I thought it was important to talk about the relationship between Morgan and Jeffrey because the whole reason.
No, I touched on that, but I didn't touch on everybody's conversation. I think I did like 2 people. So Andre, he got some alone time in the bathroom with Jeffrey. Girl, I know we ain't no bathroom booty. You better stop it. I want to know what the hell happened in there. I'm assuming it was only kissing. Okay, because we know Jeffrey is a lady.
Mm.
Then soon after, and May pulled Jeffrey to the side to get some alone time. They did a lot more talking than her and Andre did, it seems like. She let him know that she does like him and their chemistry is amazing.
Basically, yeah, the Jeffrey and MA were outside, and he was asking her where she was in the process, and then and what she said, she needs time to disconnect and regroup before she puts in her energy. And then her and MA were flirting, and then Andre walks out and tells them that the food is ready. And then Tony tells Morgan to sit next to him, and Lyndon sits on the other side of Tony, which annoys the shit out of Tony. So
He literally got up and moved. He literally got up and left.
Right.
You know, she went outside to go check on her Buddha.
So Morgan goes outside to check on him, and it's like she doesn't understand what the issue is. And Tony says he's not with Lyndon following Morgan around, and Morgan tells him he needs to chill and act like he has some home training. So she did what he asked. You know, she's like, I did what you asked. I sat next to you. And Tony doesn't feel he was being an asshole. And it's surprised Morgan would imply that he was out of line. And as she walks away, he tells her, if it's wrong, I don't want to be right. Anthony and Sue-Ann are playing some game. I don't think they knew what they were playing, so I can't tell you. And I don't think Nils has an answer for you either. So
all I know is she was trying to front for us, like she really gave a damn about Anthony, knowing she is all up Blake's ass.
And right. And so finally, when Anthony asked her, he's like, because even Tony comes to interrupt him, and he's like, nah, man, I'm trying to, like he gets him out the room.
Trying to figure this out.
Right. So he's like, what's up, Swain, basically. And he's like, is our connection on the same level? Did I waste too much time? And basically she says, if you snooze, you lose, boo. And you were on snooze a little bit too long. And he can admit, and I'm not gonna lie to y'all, this episode gave me I was already really starting to like Anthony because he just seems like really cool.
You're
now
basically saying what I said later on in my notes. I'll say he's becoming my favorite.
Right, like as he's coming out, but I love how he could admit some people need more reassurance. And I take a little bit longer, and maybe that wasn't good enough for her. And I can admit, he even has said, I didn't realize I liked her until later on, and it might have been too late for her. But what I loved about it, Anthony, accountability. You realize that your action caused reactions. And now it may be a little too late. So I could really appreciate that. And Sue-Ann basically, like Nell said, confirms that no, I'm riding with Blake. I'm gonna stick beside him. That's my book.
And he respects it.
Right.
But I do got to give Sue-Ann credit for this scene right here, because normally I'm not a fan of what she's wearing, but I thought this outfit was really
cute. She was very cute. The hair was it was giving.
The body was bodying, the hair was giving. I was like, okay, so this is the vacation vibe.
She was look, she was giving, she wanted to be saved. Okay. Not out here saving others. She wanted to be saved.
She might need to be. Come later on.
Right.
So Andre and Cynthia, they get some alone time. They're both having reservations about each other. And she tells him basically she doesn't really know if she can deal with all like the flashy all the time. But he said, you really didn't even notice me initially until, you was blinded by this flashy. And tells her, I can come off shallow sometimes, but I got some depth. I'm deep. He can go deep, okay? And she feels like she's connected to the depth in him. And somehow he's just now realizing that she's such a sweet girl. I guess maybe she wasn't being assertive this scene. That's what made her seem sweet. I'm confused. Anyways, Tony ends up walking in on the middle of Jeffrey and Morgan, like the beginning of their conversation. And, she says that she needs a man's perspective about her very strong connections with Mark and Andre. Tony said, okay, so who you picking? Who is gonna be? And Jeffrey's like, she ain't got no goddamn idea. That's not what I'm here to talk to you about, sir.
Right.
I need help with this. So he tells her, basically, you're gonna end up breaking somebody's heart. Okay, love is hard, it's something serious, and you gotta take it serious. And Morgan is just surprised at how much sense he got, or
Right.
at least how much sense he sound like he got, which
Talking to Jeffrey, but can't apply that to
advice,
his own situation.
and wish he would take his own goddamn advice.
That part.
So she told him it's super alarming that, he could be a hothead, and wants to know now that his connection is gone and she has two connections, why is he treating her funny style? So he told her, boo, you ain't got two connections. It's me. I am here. Okay. I am the one and only. And he said he don't feel no type of way about Lyndon. He ain't worried about him. And Morgan just really needs to set straight. And she's like, you ain't do that with Marcy. And he basically told her, why you gotta bring up oh shit. That's the vibe that it gave me when he said it. Okay. And he decided, you know what, he needs to cool off. So he went out to the pool and, left that conversation tabled. Then Lyndon sat down with Mercedes, trying to get the tea out of her.
Because they want to talk as friends.
As friends. Because, she friends on people. She friends on his ass. And he wants to find out what direction she's leaning. Now, Lyndon said Mercedes is in his bottom because she didn't give him friend vibes. She gave him friend zoned.
Ooh.
And she tells him that Anthony is ideal, with the house, the car, the kids, and the dog. But all of that is intimidating because she hasn't done any of that before. So I'm talking about Anthony. Yeah, okay. And she thinks that her connection is more with Mark Anthony. And basically, they're just confirmed for his ass. Mercedes got to go. He like that out the door.
He was like, you cool, we friends, but you got to go.
Basically. So Anthony is setting up the table for a group dinner. Now he's giving me hubby material. Okay. And he's really, really just starting to be my favorite, like for real. I mean, Lyndon is giving a group toast about, how fond he is of everybody. Knowing damn well he ready to get rid of Mercedes. Oh yeah, I love you all, man. Really fond of you, but just 2 seconds ago you was telling us that Mercedes gotta go. Okay. And right in front of everybody, he asked Tony who he would send home. Tony said his connection is with Morgan. So that's all that matters to him is Morgan not being sent home. Then Linda says, okay, but what if Marcy was still here? So Tony said, Morgan is his number one and has been since day one. Then Tony has some questions, okay, for him. All right. He said, how do you feel that I got a deeper connection with Morgan and you know it? He said, I kissed her 3, 4, 5, 6 times and you ain't never kissed her once. Lyndon said, if you really want to take it there, homie, we can take it there. Okay. And said, how do you feel about the fact that you was telling me if Marcy was still here, I could have Morgan? Bomb drop. And Tony admitted that he said it. And of course, Morgan is feeling some type of way. You can see it all over the boo's face. Okay.
Right.
Tony said he was angry at the time and basically with Morgan and basically tells Lyndon that he's a nuisance because he continues to try to be with her. And homie, you will lose. I don't know. And then takes it a step further and tells him, I'm where she's sleeping tonight while you be sleeping all alone.
Right.
So they had a little bit of back and forth, which made Tony ready to step outside. He talking about something. Let's take it outside. Look, Morgan looking like homie. Like,
well, can I just say, and I thought it was weird that you didn't touch on this. But going into the dinner in the first place, Tony was pouring drinks and Mercedes actually called him out and was like, that's not a shot, bruh. That's a drink. And I actually laughed to myself because I said, me and Tony have more in common than I thought. Because often most people talk about how when I make drinks for them, they end up sloppy drunk. And I'm a heavy pourer. But I can only imagine that Tony's drink was just as strong as the ones he was making. So that leads me to believe that Tony was a little toasted going into this scene. Just my thoughts, but go ahead.
So Morgan, she got up and left the table because, of course, she's super upset. Cynthia and Lyndon went to go check on her, and he basically apologized. So he basically apologized to Morgan and lets her know that he didn't mean for her to be in the middle of their back and forth. And it turned to a whose dick is bigger contest. Now, Jeffrey and Andre went to the hot tub. Now, I'm assuming she was, having some black girl worries about, getting in the water,
No, I thought it might have been just woman worries. Because I said, why is she getting up there like that in leggings? I said, it must be because it's that time of the month, and so she didn't want to do that.
Oh, I didn't think
that's what I was thinking.
I thought it was the hair and the makeup, is what I would say. So yeah, she got her feet wet because she had on leggings. But then they were discussing elimination a little bit. And then you know what?
She decided
she needed to seal a deal. So she jumped her ass right in that damn hot tub.
She said, float on.
And started giving him a kiss.
Okay.
And then he wanted to know how she's feeling during the process. And she said she ain't giving up her dirty little secret. She like, this kiss was enough to seal a deal. So I ain't giving you no more than this. All right. But she does tell him that she's so guarded, and he unravels her like a present. And you know what? I listen, I know that she got hurt with her, okay? But I don't give a damn what nobody say. Because MA is not the only person that sees it. He sees it as well. And this feminine energy that she gives, literally, she's trying to get out the hot tub. She even has like a little issue getting out the hot tub. He like cups her butt and helps her out the hot. He's like, you're the little princess. You're a little princess. This is what guys want to feel when they're dealing with a woman. I ain't there yet, but once again, Jeffrey, I'm like, nigga,
I got it. Leave me alone.
Right? Once again, Jeffrey, we're taking notes, okay, on that.
Okay, so speaking of that, because how could I get into this review? And I apologize, Shade Squad. If you haven't already, please hit the like button.
And a subscribe button.
How dare I not get into how, if you guys have not seen, I won't get too deep into it. I will get Nels's thoughts. I sent her all the ish, because y'all know I keep my ear to these YouTube streets. Your girl Simone, y'all remember her? She was on Ready to Love before, and she came back and got engaged on this season. Love Simone, by the way. She follows us. Love her. But apparently, Simone said some things on her chat. I actually did not watch the review, but if you guys don't follow her, Ages and Stages, her and Rashid do pretty good reviews of the show. And Jeffrey jumped in her comments. She didn't like something that Simone said about her. She felt like she was coming at her children, because I think Simone felt like, you need to take accountability instead of being like, oh, the fathers weren't there. You need to take accountability for the fact that maybe you made bad choices and who you laid with. And that turned into a big debacle of Simone getting her private. Y'all know Simone's a lawyer, right? Simone, I love you. Don't ever come for me, please.
If you don't know, now you know.
Okay. Don't ever come for Simone. Look, don't ever come for Simone unless she sent for you. So
and then even still, you may want to go and hide.
You may want to go to hide and just apologize. Say, I'm sorry, girl. So she went, look, if I ever need representation, I'm calling you. So basically,
first of all, what got me was the fact that Kojo vouched for this.
Yeah. He said Simone did a background check on him before they did the interview.
He was like, she is not the one to be played with.
No, she's not. And all I'm gonna say is I actually, me personally, love, her feedback, her take on the situation. I think it was a different take. I love Jeffrey. However, for those that have always felt like something's not right or something's funny, I do think that Simone did a hell of a good job of breaking things down, timeline wise and whatever. So y'all definitely go check that out. It was
And
a
creating some credible doubt.
and creating some credible doubt. So I say y'all should go check that out. Definitely dive into it. It was very interesting. Y'all can go check out Little Black Books breakdown of it. But it was very interesting, and I will just say that I still love Jeffrey, and I will still love her feminine energy. And yeah, I just hope that it works out for everybody.
We just can't believe everything she says.
We just can't believe everything she says. I think that's the conclusion that we've come to. Now, Tony goes to talk to Morgan and knows that the position Morgan was put in was wrong.
All right. Let me say this. Let me just say this. Did you notice that he went to go check on Morgan, but he had to check himself out in the mirror first? Did you
I
know?
didn't notice that, but I probably wouldn't because I deal with somebody who's that vain.
He literally walked in to go check on her, and he stops and looks in the mirror and is like, all right, and go.
Right. No, I didn't notice that, but wow, Tony. So he starts off by apologizing and wants to explain what Lyndon said. He said that, men say a lot of things. And yes, he did say that. But he says he didn't mean it. He thinks Lyndon is conniving and he did it for a reason. He tells her that, Marcia is intelligent and is a beautiful woman, but she's always been his number one. Morgan says Cynthia made it a point to say that you should pay attention to the way someone treats you when they're mad.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Morgan says he doesn't treat her kind when he's angry. And Tony said, basically, like, I'm not going to go back and forth with you about who did what between the two of them. And he says, you entertain this man in my face. How did you expect me to respond? And I'm not going to lie. This bothered me. And y'all know I be acting like Sue Ann when it comes to Tony, and I can admit it. Okay. And it really bothered me, Tony, because it was very much, I'm gonna do what I want to do, but I expect you to act a certain way and behave a certain way.
Mm-hmm.
And when you get out of line and you want to talk about it or address it, I'm just going to shut you down and I'm going to cut you off and block you out. That is manipulation, y'all. And that is how, I hate to say it, the A word starts. And I'm happy that I hope that Morgan is old enough to identify it and see it and know where to cut it off. Because if she runs after this man, he's going to got her.
I don't think she's going to run after him, but from what we saw from the preview, she's definitely looking for him to make up or fix it. So there's still an opening.
There's still an open. No. I'm not saying there can't be an opening, but I just thought the fact that I hate when, and I can only speak personally. That's why I said it bothered me. As much as I glorify or be like, oh, I love Tony, I love his energy, whatever. I hate when a man makes me feel like I don't have a voice.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that she was expressing that I was hurt by what was said, what are we, and he just shut her down. We're not going to talk about that. Like, we're not, I told you I like you and I'm here for you. And that's
You know
it.
how I feel about you.
Right. And that was the end of the conversation. That was an issue for me.
Well, she did tell him that basically what I expected was for you to act the way I act when you had to go out with Marcy.
Right.
So you put your shit together. So he was like, okay, so basically the question is, do we continue? And she's like, I don't know. And that's all I got for you, homie.
And he was like, I can't deal with I don't knows.
That's
what I'm saying. That was
that's not a problem.
So there's no room for compromise on your end, but she's just supposed to be this flexible Stretch Armstrong bitch and do whatever and fold and mold for you to accommodate you.
Mm-hmm.
That I did not appreciate, Tony. I'm going to be real with you.
So then nephew Tommy came because it's elimination time. He kicked the ladies out and had the guys join him on the couch. Now the guys briefly told nephew Tommy about, what happened the night before and how they talked it out and then moving forward. Now he tells the guys basically he just want to know who overpacked for this trip. So the guys get into who they do like. Tony says for him, it's always Morgan. I felt like that was shots fired at Lyndon, but Lyndon says him too.
Right, it's Morgan.
Okay. And him and Tony
Number
almost killed each
one.
other over her last night. What'd you say?
I said, number one. I won't stop until I see you, sugar.
That's
You
my
know
song.
who you are.
So Blake says for him is Suanne, as we know. Anthony says Cynthia and Mercedes. Andre is Jeffrey, and M.A. says Jeffrey and Mercedes. But during this trip, he gravitated more towards Mercedes. Now, their least connections are Anthony says Morgan, Blake said Jeffrey, Andre said Suanne and Mercedes, M.A. is Suanne, Tony said Suanne and Mercedes, Lyndon said Suanne and Mercedes, and he also joked that him and Tony have the same connections and the same least connections, and says this man is just all up in my head. Like, why are you trying to be like me, homie? And it's looking like it's time for Blake to put his cape on and be an advocate. Because I heard Suanne's name a hell of a lot of times. So Tommy gathers everybody together and lets them know that the time is up for one of these ladies. Now, Andre steps forward and lets Mercedes and Suanne know that they're in the bottom. Andre tells Mercedes that the guys feel that, she's giving homie vibes and she's been putting people in the friend zone. It's really just one person, but, Suanne has been closed off and she blossomed late. Did you see that body? Blossom late? Okay. And of course, it is to be continued. Now, who the hell you think going home, Trace?
Unfortunately,
I don't want. This is a rough one.
No, it's not.
It's a rough.
I'm gonna tell you. No, okay. Let's rephrase that question. Who do you want to go home, and who is going home?
I think Suanne. I want Suanne to go home, and I think Suanne is going home.
That's a very good take. I don't believe that's going to happen.
You think it's going to be Mercedes?
I want Suanne to go home, and I believe Mercedes is going home because at the end of the day, both of Mercedes connections have other connections, but Blake is still there, and he is going to save Suanne. And until Blake,
you think he was an advocate for her?
Absolutely.
But then that only leaves
because because the problem is if Blake didn't fight for Suanne, he knows he's going home. He's not staying. Nobody else is going to stay in that house and be with Blake and chill. They don't like him.
The only other real connection that Mercedes has.
And I'm not going to lie to you. Shut up. Look, I'm shouting out Blake. Lord God, what is going on in life? But let me tell y'all something. Blake was the coolest that I have ever seen him this episode. He was like actually trying to mitigate the situations that were going on at the dinner table, even when they got to men's lounge and he was like, oh, it was a little tension, but he didn't go into the tea. It was actually the guys. And I just think I actually appreciated Blake this episode. I was like, whoa, I'm seeing a different side of Blake. Like he's very no drama.
I didn't think that he really did. I didn't think he really got into the drama unless it was dealing with
No. Jeffrey. But even at the dinner table, when they were arguing back and forth, like between the guys, he was like, oh, let's like change the subject. Like he kept trying
he said, how about them dolphins or something like that?
Right. Like he was just trying. And I what I'm saying is Blake coming off, I would have been like, oh, that would have been great for him. He probably would have loved that. And it actually gave me a new like, okay, Blake, I actually see you differently. Don't mean I'm rocking with you. So I see you differently because he actually was trying to like, y'all, let's just have a good time. Like he was just trying to debt.
So let me tell you why I felt like it might have been Suanne. Okay. I feel like it might have been Sue-Ann, because Sue-Ann and Blake are the only ones that have they have their connection. We know nobody is intervening with that. If she leaves, then he leaves, and they continue their connection if it's real, right? But for Mercedes, MA is only her real connection.
Yeah,
the only other connection
is not real.
The only other connection he has with Jeffrey, and then he'd be competing with Jeffrey with Andre.
Right.
So if Mercedes leaves, then that gives Jeffrey the upper hand between Andre and MA. And honestly, I don't feel like she's going to choose MA over Andre. But that would be MA putting himself in a messed up situation rather than these two going home together.
Y'all, I don't know. Look, I told y'all before, I don't know what this show is turning into, but the way
it's either ready to find love or ready to find a check.
I'm a survivor. I'm not gonna
that's why I said it's either ready to find love or ready to find a check. Because if they don't go home together and have MA and Mercedes stay on the show, it's
I want Mercedes and MA. I told you, I've always been here. Just the whole pilot, flight attendant thing, the fact that I've always, even though you think maybe they're, and see, this is what one thing that Mercedes said in this episode that I can appreciate. She talks about how with Anthony, she doesn't know about her connection because he's ready for and her homeboy told her he's ready for whatever. As long as he gets the right woman, I'm ready to take trips. I'm ready to live life, get married, have kids. He's ready to do it with the right person if he gets that person. Whereas Mercedes is like, I'm just ready to love somebody. I'm just ready to have a real live relationship with somebody. And I think that's why I think he doesn't fit with Jeffrey. And I think that's why I think MA and Mercedes are better, because they're not looking to get married off the show. They're looking for just a decent relationship. If it can be long-term and it can become marriage, that's dope. But they're really just looking for love. Whereas these other couples, Morgan is wife me please. Jeffrey is definitely wife me please with 3 kids. You understand what I'm saying? They're not playing. Where MA and Mercedes are still like.
But that's why I feel that Blake and Sue-Ann can just leave, because you found your connection. Right. Why do you still need to be on the show if you've already found your connection and you guys decided that this is who you want? There's no need to still be in front of the camera. You can do that off camera.
Well, Shade Squad, drop down in the comments. Tell us who you think is going to go home. I would love to hear your feedback and hear your thoughts. And if you have not already, please make sure that you have hit that like button.
You comment.
You subscribe.
And you hit the notification bell.
And y'all, please make sure that you come through Sunday, 10 o'clock. We are going to be live on the YouTube doing our review of Power. I believe this is Ghost Season 3. It has already come on, so we are giving you time to watch it so it's not a spoiler for you, and actually come and give us your thoughts, ask questions about what you don't understand. That is what's going to happen. And we appreciate you guys. We appreciate the love, and we will catch you next week for another episode of Ready to Love. Have a good night.
Good night.
Bye-bye.